Hey, what's up everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video and a big bump on the side of my mouth I didn't know was there until I started the video. So hopefully it doesn't distract you. I'm on to talk. Let's get it. We're talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder and the LA Lakers, and they're going to be playing a game today in Oklahoma City. In Oklahoma City that is a must win. And you look up and the Lakers basically don't have all the people that they need to win the game. Their top three players are going to be missing this game. Bron, AD, and D'Angelo Russell are all going to be out. And, you know, we saw AD kind of come down funny on his knee yesterday in a play. He kept playing through it, but he landed real funny on his knee. And it's one of those situations where it's like, I gotta just temper my mindset in regards to Anthony Davis, because the fullness of the player that we have there, he's always going to be jumping. He's a defensive player to shot block. He's a shot block extraordinaire. So he's going to be in those plays that are going to have it that he's, you know, jumping in traffic and landing on someone's leg, landing amongst other people, coming down funny, and it's just it's a byproduct of his natural game. And him being fragile is an unfortunate aspect of it. It's like he's a fragile guy who spends most of his time contesting people who are jumping. And so it's like guys like him, Robert Williams, all these different pogo sticks, they are going to just be at risk to get injuries just by way that they play. Him and Vando, they both are pogo sticks. They both jumping, so they're gonna come down funny sometimes. They're gonna come down on people's legs and foots and stuff like that, and so on and so forth. So that's what we're seeing. Anthony Davis dealing with that, and then of course our team has to deal with it with him. So, you know, this is a game where to say we must win every game the Lakers play must win right now. Mathematically, I think it's only like 20 or 19 games left. I lost count, but I think it's like 19 games left. Most of the teams that we see we are facing in this Western Conference, in these standings that we're trying to keep up with. I think right now, with last night's loss and everybody else who lost, including these Thunder, we are, I believe, in 11th place. I believe they're in 13th place, but it's only like a half a game separating us. So, you know, and maybe like 2 or 3 games separated all of us from the 6th spot and the 5th spot. So, at this point, the whole West needs to win, and this is the worst time for teams like the Lakers to have injury issues. We've already lost all the games we can afford to lose. Last night we lost a game we didn't expect should have been a loss. It took Anthony Davis's supreme numbers at 29 points, 19 rebounds, 5 blocks or something like that to even get us within a respectable space from which to lose by 11 points or whatever it was. We were as close as 3, but we never had the lead. We complained ad nauseum about how our coach didn't use rim protection. You know, Mo Bamba didn't play but 1 minute in a game where we were getting killed, 86 points in the paint. You know, we only had one legitimate point guard on the floor without D'Angelo Russell and LeBron James. And Dennis Schroeder was turning the ball over, not really giving us the best DS game we could get from him. So it was just a rough overall situation for the Los Angeles Lakers. And when you find yourself needing to win games, you don't like looking at the strategy that you used as the reason why you failed. And that's exactly what it was. Our coach was very focused on what he was doing, but unfortunately that focus was misguided and ultimately something that left us in the dust. And we ended up losing to a team in Memphis that we know most nights we probably would lose to, but not in that fashion. Not when you have the ability to guard the paint and you just don't choose to, and they proceed to kill you in the paint. You know, the 26 turnovers were horrible, but we understood that that was just something that we're going to have to live with, because these players are playing against significantly tougher defense without LeBron James, and they ain't been asked to play together. They ain't been asked to look for their offense without LeBron James. They can rely upon LeBron to do all of the scoring, and they play off of him with weaker coverage coming their way based on him being on the floor. So now they got to deal with primary defense. They're dealing with the fact that their coach didn't rely upon them to do anything because he was too busy playing small ball all year. So now these guys don't, not only are they not used to the defense they're going up against, but they're not used to each other. And so what you have is something that's going to create turnovers. And then you mesh that with the idea that they're going up against one of the best defensive teams at the time, Memphis. They forced steals. They got great interior defense. So it was just, this is not the game you wanted to have those problems. You know what I mean? And so we had them. It was the first game we've had to deal with all of that. So hopefully tonight we'll be a little better in that regard. And so that's just what it was. It's to be expected. Turnovers for a new team against good defense. You know, pieces that don't know each other, guys taking on harder defense. It just is what it is. That's what you deal with. So the turnovers didn't bother me as much. the points off turnovers. You know what I mean? You want to get back in transition. You want to make sure you do what you have to do to make sure you make up for your own mistakes. But ultimately, a lot of that you just have to credit the Memphis Grizzlies for being a really good team, on top of the fact that we don't know each other and had a running on guys that, you know, we didn't have our first and second best or first and third best player on the floor, or whatever, however you, Bron and D'Angelo weren't there. So tonight, without Anthony Davis, you're missing a significant amount of what you need to help you even get the little points that we're used to being able to accumulate. We've already seen that we have scoring droughts without Bron. But without AD, it's much worse. If you see that Dallas game in the first quarter, in the first half, when we couldn't score a bucket, we were 21%. The only person who was scoring was Anthony Davis. We don't even find ourselves 21% without his shooting ability in that particular matchup. So my biggest concern about this team right now, besides our rotations, is just the scoring drought possibilities of what could happen with these guys having one point guard on the floor tonight, and Dennis Schroeder, and a bunch of dudes that are not used to going up against real defense, having real defense going up against them. And now you're looking at a team with OKC where I was mistaken. I said that this team was taller than Memphis Grizzlies. That's wrong. When I said that, I actually had it in my mind we were playing against Gobert in Minnesota. So I made that mistake. But the reality is the OKC Thunder without Chet Holmgren are not very tall. They're not. They got Jalen Williams, who's down there playing a little defense. Dario Saric is one of their bigs right now. They're using him a lot. Kendrick Williams is in the paint. They're using him a lot. The majority of what it is that they're using is guys that are smaller, out of position at this point. They really don't have a center. It's the opposite of what I said. That's why doing homework on your opponent is so important. So what I think can be a thing tonight is maybe us having an opportunity to rebound the ball over this team, especially since Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, as right now, is still in health and safety protocol and is listed as out. Now, with health and safety protocol, you can get an update at 3 o'clock in the afternoon that the dude is cool and he will play. We've seen it before. And since this guy has missed the last 4 games with health and safety, he should be almost on his end tail of health and safety. And it's the Lakers. So if I'm Laker fans, even though he's listed as out, I would be poised to still see him play. Because this is just game 5 of his health and safety protocol. And guys don't usually miss more than that many games with health and safety protocol. So it's a perfect storm. I wouldn't be surprised if Shai plays. And if he does play, he's going to get his 30 points. He's going to get his 8 assists. He's going to get his 8 rebounds. He's going to beat us because that's just how it's going to go. We ain't going to have the talent to stop a superstar like that with all the talent that he has down there. You know, you talk about a guy like J-Dub. Of course, they got 2 guys by the name of Jalen Williams. One of them's J-Dub. One of the other one's called J. Will. I don't know who is what. So I'm just going to tell you number 8. Number 8 is the superstar rookie over there. Okay? I think they call him J-Dub. They may call him J. Will. I can never tell. But I can tell you this. He's really, really good. And in the last game against Sacramento, he had 27 points, 8 assists. This is a big player. A forward with point guard skills, just like Giddey. Another one of them dudes, just like Giddey, just like SGA, who can be interchangeable, go for 1,000,000 points, get a bunch of assists, use a big body to get into the paint and do various things, hit 3-point shots at a consistent basis. I don't know that number 8 isn't a perfect basketball player when he fully develops. When I say perfect basketball player, I mean, like, is there any holes at all? I don't know that there are any holes at all in this young man's game. He's a fantastic defensive player and a fantastic offensive player who can get his own shot, create for others, catch off the, off the pass, and shoot off the dribble. Like, this dude, from where I'm sitting, is going to be a complete basketball player for a long time, and he's going to make a lot of all-star teams. And OKC has a low-key super team. They have a low-key super team, everybody. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not kidding. They got players on that team that the upside is wildly good. Wildly good. And some of those guys are role players. The first name that comes to mind for me off top is Luguentz Dort. And the reason why Luguentz comes off the top is because Luguentz is one of those guys that we often mention that is not an efficient shooter very much, but can get really streaky from behind the arc. And then on the other side is one of the best lockdown defenders in the world. Think Dillon Brooks. Luguentz Dort and Dillon Brooks are similar in a lot of ways, but only Dort is a much better 3-point shooter. So you're going to have to understand that Dort is healthy. He ain't been healthy for about a year. He's been playing for a couple games now, getting back on his conditioning. And this is one of them nights where the history of the last several games tells us that Lu Dort is on a historically bad not historically bad. That's a word overused, but on a bad streak of shooting for himself. But if you look at what the Lakers are putting on the floor with lesser talent on the floor, this is a night where I'd expect he's going to try to find his rhythm. He's been playing bad, but he's been working back from injury. This is like game 5 of him returning or something like that. This is exactly the type of game where you're like, oh, he ain't cold no more. Oh, crap, Luke Dennis Dort has 4 threes in the first half. Like, that's the type of crap that I'm expecting, especially since there are other players on the team that can also take pressure away from each other from behind the arc. This is one of the better three-point shooting teams in the world, if you ask me. If you ask me, I think some of the best shooters in the world are on this team right here. I think about a guy like Trey Mann, who could shoot the ball very well. I think of a guy like Aaron Wiggins, who's also been shooting the ball like crazy. Isaiah Joe, who's secretly one of the best three-point shooters in the world. A guy by the names of Lindsey Waters. I don't even know who the heck Lindsey Waters is, but the game that he played prior to the last matchup against Sacramento, he had like 3 threes. You know what I mean? He ain't going to catch me off guard. We going to know who you are, Lindsey. You ain't catching us off guard, bro. So that's one of them situations where he didn't play in the last game, but the game before that he went completely off. Like, I don't know, maybe he's one of the G League call-up guys or something, but he can go. So we need to be aware of him. As I mentioned, Dario Saric, we know he can shoot from behind the arc. Obviously, Giddey's been capable. He's not a three-point shooter, but he'll definitely hit it if you leave him out there. The whole team, man. You know, they got a guy by the name of James Robinson Earl who's come back from injury. He's also been out just like Lou Dort for a million years. He's back. He's running around. So you got to deal with him on the defensive end. Very, very tough defensive guy. So you look at Dort, you look at him, you look at the Williams brothers, both of the Williams who play defense. That's 4 players right there that are basically going to assist with anything they need in regards to locking you down, forcing steals, or any of that. This is just like Sacramento, I tell you. If you're going to play against certain teams, just because they have the reputation as a bad organization or a nobody organization, you need to look at what they're doing right now. Right now, the Thunder and the Sacramento teams are two teams that you cannot pass the ball all willy-nilly around. Okay, that's what we understand about both of those teams. If you start passing the rock around the Thunder, they are capable of getting steals like crazy. They had 10 steals in both of the matchups against the Sacramento Kings, of whom they played these last 2 games against. They had one of those back-to-back situations where they play the same game in the same building against the same team. I don't know why the NBA started doing that, but they had to deal with that just now with the Sacramento Kings. Sacramento had basically identical games. The scores were like maybe 1 or 2 points off from each other. They were both the same game. They both had similar stats and how they panned out. It was similar. The first game, De'Aaron Fox went crazy for 33 points. The second game, you know, you basically saw a situation where similar stuff happened. I think they had like 6 players in double figures for Sacramento. So that's where the Thunder are going to hurt. If you know, you can find ways of scoring the ball against them from behind the arc. They didn't guard the perimeter very well to the eyesight. Sacramento was able to get up plenty of 3-point shots. They just didn't do a good enough job of stopping Sac. And with the lack of size, which is helpful to us, they were able to kind of attack them. Sac was able to get in the paint. You saw Keegan Murray and Barnes and those guys slashing. Sabonis continuing to get in the paint, that kind of thing. So, unfortunately, without Anthony Davis, we don't really have that tonight. Without Bron, we don't have that tonight. Without D'Angelo Russell, the continuity ain't going to be there. So, I'm telling you that I was already worried about this game because I just look at the Sacramento Kings as a young team with a lot of shooters, and we don't guard the perimeter as well as people say we do. We don't. And they're going to shoot the ball like crazy. And so, I look at a guy like Jay Will and a guy like Giddey, and I know that they can give you big points, get rebounds, get assists, both of them, and just make it so that the rest of the players on their team, like Joe and Wiggins and Mann, are that much more dangerous. You know, and I look at an old vet like Dario Saric running around there playing 30 minutes, and I just know he's going to give you a headache. He's healthy, and he's spry. He looks pretty good with them kids down there. Him, Kendrick Williams, they're holding down that forward spot pretty well for this team. And you look at Jay Williams, the big guy. He's also a guy who's going to shot block, rebound, has the ability to play huge. You know, he's the ability to put up an all-star line. Even though he's not number 8, the other Jay Williams, he's also got the same amount of upside. You just got to find ways to utilize him to his strengths a bit more. And for what it's worth, he's having a fantastic rookie season. You know what I mean? So it's like you got to deal with both the Jalen Williams, who both play on both sides of the floor, and you got to deal with the rest of those forwards they got. So if you play your Bombas, if you play your Vanderbilts, you should be all right because they're not going to be tall enough to deal with those guys. You know, they got size, but they don't have height. And outside of Jay Will, after that, they're running nothing but forwards at their center position. So that's how you attack. And to be honest with you, this is a team that's been losing. You know, they're on a 4-game losing streak. Without SGA, they can't, you know, they're missing their star. So that's a huge part of their production. They, too, have role players that are taking on defenses that they're not used to because of the fact that SGA out there to take that from them. So we got to put it on them. You know, it's dumbed down a little bit based on that truth if he doesn't play and this holds up. But at the end of the day, we're so undermanned in some very key ways. And we have such little continuity with these teams having not played enough time together. I just don't really see a whole lot of success headed our way after coming off from a back-to-back. The only thing that makes me feel good is the fact that they're coming off a back-to-back too. You know, they were, if I'm not mistaken, was that game in Sacramento? No, I think that game was there. These were home games for them. So you know, they slept in their own bed even though they played last night. We, however, had to get on a flight and do a little traveling. So hopefully our team got some rest somehow. With Anthony Davis not playing, it just looks bleak in regards to us beating this team. They're on a 4-game winning streak, having lost to the Sacramento Kings. Who else they played? They played the Utah Jazz. I think SGA actually played in that game. Yeah, I think that's how that went. There was a couple other games that they played. I'm just trying to rack my brain on how things went for them. 2 Sacramentos, 1... God, I don't remember who they played. Utah. Whatever the case was, they lost. They lost all 4 of the games. They ain't won in a while. And they're due. They're due to play better. You know, with Jalen Williams coming off that 27-8 game, I don't know if that was his career high in either one of those categories. But you know he's poised to do the same thing tonight. He's not an inconsistent player by any stretch of the imagination. If you ask me, he's probably either number 2 or number 3 in all Rookie of the Year voting as of right now. You know, I obviously Banchero's the number 1 guy. I start thinking about other players like Walker Kessler, but I don't think anybody's having a better season than number 8 for OKC outside of Paolo and maybe Ben Mathurin or something like that in Indy. Other than that, it's him. It's him, and he's balling. He's coming on strong. Walker Kessler in Utah is another name, but you know that's what it is. Some like Ivy. Jaden Ivey's also another name, but I still believe that Jalen Williams is ultimately having a better season than them dudes right now. Number 8. So that's what it is, man. I take him extremely seriously. Him and Giddey are going to give us mostly what it is we're going to be dealing with. Look out for Trey Mann because he was extremely cold in the last game. He ain't going to have too many games where he's cold. He's a very talented young brother that I always mention on this team as somebody who can kill you from behind the arc. A lot of pop, a lot of wiggle ability and stuff like that, dribble ability. You're going to have to deal with it. Who I want to see really step up tonight is Malik Beasley. That's who I want to see step up tonight. He showed me some good things in limited minutes off the bench yesterday. The minutes should not necessarily have been limited. I think it's like we got to find a sweet medium there. You know what I mean? I don't mind not playing him 34 minutes when he's cold, but I also don't really want us to play him only 15 minutes on the last night when he only missed 1 or 2 shots and got a bunch of steals when he was on the floor. He was one of the better defensive guards we had last night and was able to help us with some things, and I think he would have helped us even more if we would have allowed him to play. He was hitting teardrops as well, getting in the paint, helping us in other areas. So I have been on the positive side of liking what Malik is doing outside of shooting. I think he has impressed in that way. He has, in the midst of all this turmoil, Malik Beasley's other stuff has been good. You know, just good. So I think that's important. Rui Hachimura, you know, I just want us to play him at the 3. I hate seeing him at the 4, even though it makes all the sense in the world to the eye test because he is a slower guy. He's a bigger guy. We say it every day. But I think our rotation just makes more sense when you play him at 3. And the numbers tell you he's a better 3.3 than he is a 4 anyway. So it just kind of helps you. It coerces you into doing that, even though you otherwise wouldn't want to. So that's what I'm trying to express to the Laker Nation. Yes, I understand that the eye test tells us that Rui is slotted at the 4 just fine. But he just tends to play better at the 3, and we need him to play the 3 in order for our roster to make the sense it needs to make. So that's the problem. Needing to play him at the 4 is why our roster is so screwed up. You just simply slip him down to the 3, play Winion at the 4 off of your bench, and then let Mo come in next to Winion in your 5 and get Troy the hell out of there because he's garbage at this point. No disrespect. I'm just frustrated. He's been trash, and that's what it is. You just get him out of there. I think the Laker Nation agrees, and you let that be your second unit. along with Austin Reeves, Dennis Schroeder, or Austin Reeves, and Beasley, or whatever the heck you're going to do there with your guard spot. Should be more Lonnie Walker, if you ask me. I think he's earned that. So I don't think our roster is broken by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, I think we're still just as good as I believed we were before the game started yesterday. I just think if you do the wrong things with your roster, you're going to play into the defense's hands, and that's what Darvin Ham did, and we talked about it. You know, so now, with even less options, you know what I mean, we're going to see more Winion, hopefully. We'll see some Mo Bamba. We'll see a lot more Lonnie. Hopefully he'll still be hot from last night. Dennis Schroeder had a tough game yesterday, but we've also seen him have some good games. This is an old team he used to play for. He won Sixth Man of the Year as an Oklahoma City Thunder. So this is a game that should be circled on the calendar for him, especially given the fact that he's playing for a contract. This is a Dennis Schroeder bounce-back game. Everybody remembers the turnover he had last night. It left a bad taste in our mouth. We don't want him to be our floor general, but we do trust him to do point guard scoring duty things and good defensive things as well, as he's been gaining our respect on that end of the floor. So hopefully with the game in our belt yesterday, all the 26 turnovers and 41 points off turnovers and 86 points in the paint, all that crap should have been learned from. We did things that were learnable, adjustable last night that helped us understand that there are things we can do better. So that's what it is. You should never have another 26 turnover game like that. That is in the books. You learned from that. You lived through that. And that is ultimately what I'm speaking into existence. I want to see that my team learned from all the stuff that they did wrong. Because some of that stuff was just errors. It wasn't like guys were forcing those turnovers. It wasn't like stupid players were making these decisions. These were turnovers by Anthony, turnovers by Austin, dribble off your foot type of stuff by Austin. Stuff you don't expect to see tonight. So that's what it is. I want to see my team do a better job of not giving up the free ones. If they force them, cool. If they force turnovers, that's the defense doing what they're supposed to do. But we must not give them anything. No unforced ones. So offensive rebounding is key. We have the players to do it, obviously, if we play them. Even without Anthony Davis and Braun, we still got enough front court help to make sure that we win the rebounding total against this OKC Thunder team. They ain't got nothing but forwards on it. So if we don't win the rebounding total tonight, that will be a huge disappointment. This team ain't rebounded over 50 rebounds in any of these 4 games that SGA ain't been a part of. They're just not rebounding like that. They also didn't have over 50 points in the paint either. They're doing a lot of shooting from behind the arc, I think. Don't quote me on that. But they definitely didn't have 86 points in the paint in any of them games that they've played over the last 4 games. It's worthy to say that the last time we saw the Thunder, LeBron James passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the scoring record. That was the last time we saw the Thunder. We didn't take that game as seriously as I'd like to say we should have. It was before we made the trade to get all these young guys. So that was one of the more disappointing performances, in my opinion, even though we were happy about how the night went. It just was trash. Anthony Davis had bad body language that game. Of course, we know all about that. So this is our second matchup against the Thunder. I think it's our second matchup. We still have another after this. I don't remember if we played them once before that or if we only have 3 matchups with them. I just don't remember. But I know that particular game we lost, lackluster. We weren't focused on nothing at all in regards to winning. It was just all about the ceremony and LeBron. And we even stopped the game middle of the game just to do all this good stuff that comes with that. So that was a ceremony with a game in between it somewhere. And somehow it came and went without us having the urgency necessary. And then 2 weeks later, we see the same team. Now we're all this urgent. Oh, my God. We knew this then and didn't care. So now that we're here, it's like I don't know how I'm supposed to just snap into gear and say, well, we didn't care about beating the Thunder 2 weeks ago, but this week it's a must win. I'm just not that type of person. I saw the urgency then and was very disappointed that night. We should have beat them. We needed to beat them. And ain't nothing more important about this game that wasn't just as important 2 weeks ago. So that's what I got to say. Lakers didn't take the Thunder seriously. And now here we are in a situation where we're likely probably going to lose this game against the damn Thunder because we don't have everybody. When we did have everybody, we weren't using them properly and we didn't care about winning. You know what I mean? So only person who cared about winning in that game was, ironically, in my humble opinion, Russell Westbrook. He was the one who was trying to get to the rim, trying to get to the line down the stretch of the game and get as close as possible in that OKC game, while everybody else was happy with losing. So he's now a Clipper losing over there, and we're losing over here. It's all a bunch of losing, and We just need to set the ship right, whether AD, Bron, and D'Angelo are out there or not. You know, these are games. We had won 4 out of 5 before this last matchup. This Dallas game, we were down by 27. How you want to view that? Do you want to be happy we were, you know, able to come back from that? Or you want to look at the fact that we were down by that in the first place? Either way, these last 2 games have been trash for the Lakers. Let's just call it what it is. Without LeBron James, without D'Angelo Russell, this team's been trash. Now, how we get to being trash, we talked about it a million times. It's Darvin Ham's choice. But at the end of the day, when you need to win, and games are going like this, it doesn't set a good precedent for the next game you're about to play. That's what I'm telling you. Down by 27 in the game against Dallas, somehow won that because Dallas has no interior defense. We had an opportunity to beat the Memphis Grizzlies despite turning the ball over 26 times, but still managed to give up 86 points in the paint, to which they were able to have basically a 41-point quarter in the third quarter where John Moran did everything by himself while we gave ourselves absolutely no chance to guard him properly. We had all different types of options we could have used. Put Vanderbilt on him in the third quarter. We could have put Bamba down there. We could have double-teamed him. We could have triple-teamed him. We could have did a lot of different things. We did none of it. We watched him score and get the best numbers possible. So what I'm saying to you is, tonight, all of that has shown me that chances are, without our 3 players, this team is going to come out and lay an egg, man. That's what I'm telling you. The tendencies of what we've been seeing has told me that we're going to come in here against the OKC Thunder team that's dropped 4 in a row, and we're going to think that whatever it is we're bringing to the table should be enough, and it ain't. It's not if we don't do things properly with this damn roster. You got to get Lonnie Walker scoring the ball like he needs to. You need to empower Austin Reeves to play better basketball than he did yesterday. All them turnovers, we can't have it. You know, we're going to have to rebound the ball. Vanderbilt has got to catch passes that come his way, man. It can't just be me telling everybody not to pass you the ball. Sometimes they're going to have to pass you the ball, and you're going to have to catch it. So we're going to have to run more drills to improve Vanderbilt's hands, and he's going to have to put in the work, man. We can't just accept that there's a basketball player that literally can't pass the ball to. That's not going to work. I don't care how great you are in intangibles and off the ball and all that. If we are in a fast break and we can't get you the ball because it's going to go off your hands like stones, there's going to be a reaction to your playing time in regards to that. We just can't have it. And most importantly, I don't know that our coach, and I'm going to say this, God forgive me, I don't know if he's going to be smart enough to know how to utilize a player like that. Okay? That's a very specific piece. You got to be able to run plays for people around him and then be comfortable without ever running plays for him while trusting that he's going to contribute on the offensive end in areas that are extreme. Not every coach knows how to manage that. You know what I mean? Not every coach knows how to use 4-on-5 with the trust that it's going to be all right. Because that's exactly what it is. It's 4-on-5 on the offensive side. You can't get him the ball just like you couldn't pass to Patrick Beverley. So as we start to understand that, we know Vando is going to help us. Plenty. Just don't trust him. That's all. If you don't trust him, you'll be fine. Leave him alone. Let him do whatever he's going to do. And the more you ignore him while doing all the stuff you need to do on the offensive side, he will help you by getting offensive rebounds, grabbing the ball in situations where it doesn't even look like it's possible, taking rebounds away from the other team when they're in firm position to do it. All the stuff that you just love to have that everybody else who does things perfectly ain't going to do. Simple as that. He ain't going to do the stuff you need them to do, but they ain't going to do the stuff that he's going to do. So you just let him be himself, run plays for everybody but him, and enjoy the Vanderbilt. But you start doing all that dumb stuff thinking he's, thinking he's AD or thinking he's Wenyen Gabriel, and you're going to get screwed up. See, Wenyen has excellent hands. This is why it frustrates me when we don't play him, because he's the opposite of Vanderbilt in that way. It seems like every time you pass him the ball, he catch it. Every time it's time for somebody to get a rebound off the ball, he's the one getting the rebound and putting it back in. Anytime he tips it back in, it's going in. Just study the tape. I'm telling you, Wenyen Gabriel is one of our best players. He's been probably our 5th best player all season long, and we play him like he can't play at all. And when he's on the floor, he kicks tail every time. Unless we're giving him a short amount of minutes as to which the rope is ever so slight, you can only get one offensive foul, and we're going to sit you for 3 days. When we do that, he screws up, just like most people do. So that's my thing, man. Stop leaving our team looking like it's more trash than it is because you don't respect what the roster is actually functioning to do. You know what I mean? And that's where I'm at with Darvin Ham. That's why The only thing keeping me from calling for us to fire him is the circumstances more than anything. Him being a rookie coach and us not being able to pull in an interim that can help us with what it is we're doing right now. Ain't no interim going to help us win the games we need to win. We just got to keep on going forward with the coach. But I'm telling you, I don't think we are in the best position to do what we need to do so long as we continuing to have these things go wrong for us. And so that's really what it comes down to. It ain't personal, but it is something that's hurting us in regards to having a coach that ain't doing smart stuff. Okay? Period. And I get it. I even listen to myself. I'm not a basketball mind. There are a lot of ways to score a basket. There are a lot of ways you can do things. I've seen situations that don't look like they can work that work. Leaning on guys who are 1 for 13 and they score 5 shots in a row. I've seen a lot of stuff over the years. Nothing's perfect. Last night I was so sure we were the greatest interior team and we got beat 1,000,000 points in the paint. Like these things, there's no perfect science to this. Sometimes things can look good on paper and still translate bad. But what I'm telling you is, you got to do things that make sense on paper too. And if it shows you that it doesn't work out in real life, then you adjust out of it. Don't give me a bunch of nonsense that you know doesn't look good on paper. It doesn't work and we continue to do it. That's what we saw the first half of the season with small ball and last year with small ball. And that's kind of what we're seeing with this Rui Hachimura playing the 4, no Mo Bamba rotation garbage. Troy Brown has to play no matter what garbage. And I'm over it. My mind goes to different theories about why we're allowing teams to look so good against us and all this different stuff. But at the end of the day, I don't care why it's happening. I just want it to stop. Especially since we have the talent to keep it from happening. We got it. We have length. We got 21 feet of length in center down there. And at any given moment in the third quarter, you're down by 5 or 6 points. And this coach is sitting all of them. Sitting all of them. So I think the biggest solution for the Los Angeles Lakers is to get over the mindset of what it is that they've been engaging in this nonsense about being undersized and having it supposed to work out for us and it not, but us still doing it. It has to stop, man. Or the Los Angeles Lakers are going to drop games and we're going to find ourselves having seen LeBron James the last time in his uniform. Okay? That is what humans of all walks of life who support the Lakers and LeBron James need to hear me say and believe. There is a very reasonable chance that because of all this crap we've been talking about, LeBron never plays another game for the Lakers. Never. He doesn't come back this season because we ain't nothing to come back to, and then we move on from him in the offseason. The last of LeBron has already been seen. You know what I'm saying? That's the space we're in. That's the reality of this crap if we don't win these games. If we don't find a way to overcome this crap. And that's my thing is like, look, I don't want to look at Anthony Davis or D'Angelo Russell and say, why aren't y'all playing? Because that's not how I feel. It ain't. What I actually feel is the smart thing to do is better than the emotional thing. The emotional thing is to go out there and play hurt. And what ends up happening is they get hurt further for doing so. So no, that's not the right way to go. But you want to look that way. You want to look that way because you know why? Because we need to win these damn games. That's why you want to look over there. It's not right. It's not reasonable. But you do say, where's the urgency, friends? You just say, where's the urgency? You know what I'm saying? And so it's nothing. There's no solution for that. It's just frustration. But I need guys to play tonight. That's where we at. As a Laker fan, I need guys to need to win as bad as the standings are telling us we need to win. Because we did a lot of things that we did in the name of winning. Some of which I don't think our owner probably wanted to do. Some of which I don't think our players really wanted to be a part of. We did those things because we wanted to give ourselves a chance to win. This is a game. For a million different reasons, you must win. This game here. More so than yesterday's game. More so than the game after this against the Timberwolves. But this one against the Thunder, you need to beat them, man. And what I'm telling you is, we got everybody that we need sitting for reasons that frustrate the hell out of us, man. Injuries, you know. Injuries, real injuries. So that's just what it is, man. D'Angelo Russell, his ankle, AD in his knee, Bron in his foot. I think the real solution brings us back to a space where you just have to make a real organizational decision to move on from players that can't play for you. And I don't like it as a Bron fan. I don't like it as an AD fan. But when I look at the fullness of our team and these moves that we just made, we got these young pieces, we should be ready to roll. And we're not ready to roll because the guys we lean on the most, the guys who are most important, just aren't available. And I ain't blaming them. That's a Genie thing, man. That's a Genie thing. I'm sorry. Can't blame the players for not being available. You got to look at the owner and say, was this the right start from the beginning? Should we have actually gone this route? If we were serious about winning, was this the best play to win? And the answer is, nah. It wasn't. Just wasn't. So here we are. This is what it is. This is what it is. I don't like it no more than anybody else does. Like I said, I'm a fan of these guys. I want to see people succeed. You know, I've grown to appreciate these players over the last couple of years. I don't want to part ways with them because they are not able to perform, especially since I have so much respect for LeBron James. That ain't even how we want to view the king, but it's not about how we feel. It ain't about, you know, any of that. It's about just the results. Just the results. That's literally all we really need to be focused on. And the results right now are we suck, our guys are out, and we playing for nothing. I hate to tell people what I believe, but I think the Lakers are going to be playing for nothing. If we keep losing, if we lose the Thunder game, which we're poised to lose tonight, and we go up against the Timberwolves, and we still ain't got these guys back, and we lose that game too, now we're getting into territory where I'm like, all right, it's almost time to cut the cord, y'all. I told you guys a 4-game losing streak would end it for me because I don't believe in playing Anthony Davis through pain, Bron James through this injury, when we can only afford to lose 2 and 3 games. When you can only afford to lose 2 and 3 games, it's too late. You're going to lose those games. That's what it comes down to. So these are the ones you cannot lose. While everybody else is saying 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm at 3 right now. You understand what I'm saying? It's almost over, y'all. We ain't got time for this. We ain't got time for this. Teams is good, okay? Portland doesn't suck. OKC, yeah, they're probably going to fall. But the Timberwolves, they're playing a little better now. Anthony Edwards and them, they just beat the Clippers last night. You know what I'm saying? Phoenix is getting KD tonight. This don't have to work out. Sacramento's beating people. They're beating people. This Thunder team we saw tonight, they just beat them twice in a row. Same way. They're not going nowhere. They're getting better. De'Aaron Fox is playing great. Keegan Murray's getting his confidence. Sabonis is healthy. You look around this Western Conference right now, the Pelicans, Zion. He's going to be reevaluated in a week. He'll be back very soon. You understand what I'm saying to you? This ain't the time to be dropping no damn games. Anthony Simons. He's going to be evaluated very soon. He's still out indefinitely, but that piece will be back by the playoffs. We are in a dire world of trouble, and our stars are just sitting injuries left and right, injuries. Bro, we're in trouble, Laker fans. That's it. There's no accountability to hold for people to play through injuries. You just look up and you understand you're in trouble. You hope you can beat this team, but you also know, Trey Mann and those guys are going to shoot the ball tonight. You know that. So hopefully the Lakers can make me proud. We're going to need Vanderbilt to bounce back. I need him to have a really big game. Give me 21 boards tonight, fam. You got to make up for that trash yesterday. It's never about stats with him. But we can't have broken plays because of our most important defensive piece, not named AD. You got to catch the ball, friend. Straight up. And I'm holding him to task. You got to catch the ball. So that's it. If we can trust Vando to catch the ball and not have some of those broken plays go left, we're going to win the game that we lost last night. I think I ain't going to say we lost because of him because there was a million things that went wrong. But if he's not good, we are going to have trouble, especially without Bron, without D'Angelo. We need him to play well. His way. Not a 30-point game. That's not his game. 21 rebounds, 4 blocks, 3 steals, 4 points. That's what I need from Vanderbilt tonight. And so that's what it is, man. I'm frustrated as a Laker fan. I'm always frustrated, man. I know we're going up against a young team with a lot of talent, really cerebral, help each other. They pass a lot. They play well. It's a free flowing game. It's sad that Chet Holmgren wasn't able to play for them this year because it's a really good Thunder team, believe it or not. And who knows what the team's gonna look like next year. But as far as I can tell, they are a team that's poised to fall out if they can't hurry up and get SGA back. They're in the same spot we're in. So that's another reason why you expect for him to play if he gets cleared, because they're in the same spot we're in. And even though they can afford to get another lottery pick, I'm sure they would love to be able to match another superstar kid down there. At the end of the day, they don't need to. And if they do get a kid like that, they'll probably end up having to get rid of somebody they would rather pay anyway. So, you know, this is a situation where depending on who they get in the lottery may determine what it is they do with the pick in and of itself. So they don't need the pick. They probably would be just as happy making the playoffs, and beating us is going to help them do that. So, you know, the urgency here for their team is pretty high, and they got nothing to lose because they're all 5 years old. So this ain't the night to be sitting people. This ain't the night to not be 100%, man. And so I don't blame Rob Pelinka for nothing. I think he's done everything he's supposed to do. I think the solutions that we have are already with our G League talent, as I mentioned every day. You just call up Jay Huff, call up Scottie Pippen, just call up Swider, and you got a whole new set of players that can do a whole new set of things for you. The Lakers can do that at any time. Could have did it all first half of the season too. We just chose not to, and we sucked because of it. So that's what it is, man. That is exactly what it is. Of course, the Thunder are a team that you know their fans are gonna be all into it tonight. The game is, I believe, at 5 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock Eastern, and that is really the gist of my thought, man. Like I said, this Oklahoma City team has lost 4 games in a row. They're at home though, and they've played against a better team than we are in Sacramento the last couple times. I just wish I remember who else they played. They played somebody else, and I don't remember who it was. But whoever it was, they lost, and I don't think it was much to say for it because SGA wasn't out there, just like the other 2 games. So it is what it is. Damn it, I hate when I watch highlights on a game, do all that homework, and then forget it when the camera's on. It's like, why do I watch that crap? It was 10 minutes of highlights. I literally don't even remember. But whatever the case, the point is, the Thunder are a team you got to deal with. And Dario Saric is a player they're using a lot. So if anything I took from them highlights is that they got him in rotation like crazy. And Lou Dort is back. So that's what it is, y'all. That is my thought. Go Lakers. We need big games from our guards. We need big games from our forwards. We need a big game from our coach. My name is BDL44. I thank you all for watching. Wow.